Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're going to explore the incredibly fascinating, wildly unpredictable, and let's be honest, sometimes totally chaotic space of human thought. I mean, we all have those moments where our brains just seem to detach from reality and go on these massive journeys completely on their own, right? It's a phenomenon that's as universal as it is mysterious, and we are going to unpack exactly how it works.
So, tell me if this sounds familiar. Have you ever noticed how quickly a totally innocent, simple idea can just completely spiral out of control? Like, you might start your evening just thinking about creating a new recipe for dinner. Completely harmless, right? But within seconds, your brain jumps to the cost of groceries, which leads to thoughts about building wealth, which then aggressively pivots to stressing over workplace politics, and suddenly, literally out of nowhere, you're deep into imagining these absolute worst-case scenarios for a meeting you have next Tuesday. This constant ping-ponging between creativity, ambition, and sudden doubt, yeah, it's something we all experience.
To define this exact experience, the source material we're looking at today introduces just a perfect term for it: the galaxy mind. It defines the mind as a wanderer, a traveler across infinite mental galaxies. I love that. It perfectly captures the limitless, sometimes chaotic, but undeniably powerful nature of human thought. It's this massive space that houses the spontaneous flow of thoughts that just bubble up the second our minds are free to roam.
To really ground this concept, let's look at a real-life anecdote from the author. We'll call this the evening interruption. Picture this, a quiet evening. The author sits down with the pure, simple intention of just reading a book. But of course, with a wandering mind, just maintaining that focus is an ongoing struggle. Right as they're trying to anchor their attention, ring, the phone goes off. It's a colleague on the other end, completely derailing the evening with what he claims is this massive, urgent crisis.
And this brilliantly illustrates the massive disconnect that often happens in these situations. You see, to the colleague, this was a siren-blaring, highly critical project issue that required immediate panic. But the reality? Well, actually, it wasn't a critical problem at all. The quote-unquote crisis was really just the colleague hitting the limitations of his own perspective. It was merely a set of self-imposed boundaries that he simply couldn't think his way out of.
Now, watch how quickly this galaxy mind effect unfolds. Minute 1, the call ends. The problem is ostensibly handled, right? Back to the book. But wait, by minute 10, the author's thoughts have shifted entirely away from the reading. They're reflecting on how often people create unnecessary complications and wondering how to even handle environments like that. Fast forward to minute 30. A full half hour has passed and the author is still deeply mentally entangled in this non-issue, constructing scenarios far, far worse than anything that would ever actually happen in reality.
The author absolutely nails this paradox, stating, "This is the paradox of the wandering mind. It magnifies, imagines, and exaggerates." Think about that for a second. Our brains possess this terrifying ability to pull us into worlds of possibility that exist only in thought. We end up wasting so much precious time and energy agonizing over these magnified exaggerations that will literally never materialize.
Now, right about now, you might be feeling a sense of familiarity. You probably recognize these exact struggles in your own life. And because of that, you might be thinking, okay, is it time for a life coach? Are we about to get a top 10 list of concentration techniques to lock down this wandering mind? Honestly, you're probably expecting a guru's magic solution to fix this mental drift right about now.
Well, here comes the bait and switch, and it's an incredibly important one. We always expect a universal solution, right? A set of focus techniques, or maybe a life coach telling you exactly what to do step by step. But the reality? The author enthusiastically clarifies that they are not a psychologist or a motivational speaker. In fact, they argue strongly that no universal solution to mental challenges even exists. Why? Because you are as unique as a fingerprint. There is absolutely no one-size-fits-all remedy for the human mind. Period. Let's break down the logic behind that for a second. Your mind, and therefore your specific problems, are completely unique because they're shaped by a massive combination of factors. We're talking your specific environment, your lifestyle, your family background, the very specific work culture you navigate every single day, and even the physical spaces you inhabit. With this incredible level of diversity from person to person, how could one single solution possibly fit all of us? Simply put, it can't.
Which brings us to a highly empowering realization. The only person who holds the key to your challenges is you. I mean, think about it. No one can truly understand the vast, intricate complexities of your inner world just by listening to you chat for a few hours. No one knows you better than you know yourself. The Galaxy Mind concept isn't about handing you ready-made answers on a silver platter. It's about sparking self-awareness so you finally realize that the solutions you're desperately looking for, They already reside within you.
But accepting that we hold the key? Man, that is hard. Instead, we often fall victim to the illusion of control. We look outward. We desperately try to manage the positive and negative frequencies of our thoughts, convincing ourselves that if we can just control our environment or rely on some external force, we can finally tame our chaotic minds.
To further unpack this dynamic of positivity and negativity, the author shares a fascinating concept from a spiritual teacher they once listened to. The concept is astidva. It translates to existence itself. According to this teacher, astidva is merely a reflection of the continuity of our repeated thoughts. So the idea here is that the universe essentially responds to the frequency of our thoughts. It's up to each person to decide which thoughts to embrace, because existence is just going to reflect that internal positivity or negativity right back at us.
And this brilliantly illustrates what happens when we let those negative frequencies take over. It becomes this rapid downward spiral. In step 1, you start simply by trying to avoid negative outcomes. Makes sense. But then, step 2 hits. You begin overcompensating. You take totally unnecessary precautions, maybe alarming others or actually making the situation worse. By step 3, you're facing total exhaustion. Your mind has struggled endlessly until even routine, everyday tasks feel completely overwhelming. And finally, step 4, you are trapped. The sheer depletion of energy pushes you backward, trapping you in a set of circumstances created entirely by your own negative thinking. When we get trapped like this, it is universal human nature to look for an idol. We look for something, anything, spiritual, personal, or symbolic, to either blame for our misery or praise for our successes. We just want an external force to fix our lives for us. And this desperate desire for an external fix leads us to create some pretty absurd cultural fantasies about how the mind actually works. Just to show you how far we take this fantasy, the author recounts a film they watched recently. Okay, get a load of this plot. Step 1. An English woman is forced to swallow drug packets for smuggling. Step 2. A packet ruptures, releasing this mysterious drug into her bloodstream. Step 3. Naturally, this drug makes her highly supremely intelligent, elevating her to the highest possible level of human consciousness. And step 4. Her body's molecules begin to resonate with the frequency of the universe itself, granting her literal control over everything in existence.
To which the author has one simple, perfectly blunt reaction. What nonsense. It's a hilarious contrast, isn't it? We invent these wild, ridiculous sci-fi plots because we're so obsessed with the idea of a magic shortcut, an external chemical or some mystical force that's going to suddenly unlock our brains and solve all our internal struggles for us.
But the hard truth? There are no magic pills. None. Could some futuristic drug ever be invented that awakens a seventh sense? I mean, maybe, maybe not. But regardless of science fiction, the core reality remains exactly the same. We absolutely cannot rely on external forces, universal remedies, or magic pills to fix the chaotic wandering of our own minds.
So, we arrive at our final takeaway for this explainer. Whatever is possible in your life, only you have the power to make it happen. No one else can navigate your inner world for you. Your mind is a vast, infinite galaxy of thoughts, capable of drifting into total chaos, sure, but also capable of building incredible things. The keys are already in your hands. So the question I want to leave you with today is this. Knowing you have this limitless wandering power, what is your galaxy mind going to create next?